Am I the a-hole for telling my stepdaughter to leave the house after she called me a homewrecker? My stepdaughter and I don't have a good relationship. I have been in her life since she was 9. Her father and I started dating 3 months after he filed for divorce. We were colleagues for a short while about a year before their divorce, but we didn't have any relationship back then. I left the firm just 6 months after we started working together. I didn't even think about him once till we reconnected at a party hosted by one of our colleagues. His ex-wife thinks that we had an affair with me. There's nothing we can do to convince her otherwise. She told her daughter about her suspicions when she was around 13. We had a great relationship till then, and I tried to tell her that her dad didn't cheat. She doesn't believe us. It is just our words against her mother, and the timeline does look a bit suspicious. She withdraws from me, and she has always been distant since then, and sometimes she made some remarks about her father being a cheater, and it was very hard on both of us. It was something we tried to talk about, but it was just our words against her mother's, and she truly believed it. She returned home for a summer break after her freshman year in college. She decided to spend most of the time with her mother, but she does visit us a few times. She visited us 2 days ago, and she was in a remarkably bad mood. She was just stewing in silence and watching something on TV when I asked her to turn the volume down as I was working. She blew up on me. She called me a homewrecker and a gold digger. She accused me of ruining her parents' marriage. I was stunned and shocked, and it hurt me. I knew she didn't like me, but she clearly hated me. I think her calling me a gold digger hurt the most. I am at this stage of my career where I want to switch to something less stressful, but one of the reasons I don't is because we don't want her to be burdened by debt. I love this girl, even if she didn't care about me. I asked her to leave the house and come back when she could be a bit calmer. She left the house, and she's not talking to her father. He tried to talk to her, but she is not speaking to him. I feel incredibly guilty. I should have handled it better. I got too emotional about it. I really can't blame her for believing what her mom told her. If my mom told me something similar about my dad, I would have believed it. I can't blame her mother too. If you believe that your spouse cheated, wouldn't you tell your children at some point? I let her words get to me, and I may hurt my husband's relationship with her. I feel guilty as hell. My husband also thinks that I should have been calmer here and just let her vent a bit before talking to her. Now for the top comments. No else here except for her mom. That poor girl has been poisoned by her mother, but can you blame her? It's her mom telling her that stuff. You can't expect someone, who was 13 at the time of being told, to be a detective to find out if it was the truth. I bet her heart was broken because she loves her dad. But I also don't expect you to put up with it. You're innocent, even if the timeline is suspicious. You shouldn't have to put up with verbal mistreatment from anybody. Maybe you could have handled it better, but you could have handled it a lot worse too. The daughter is still the a-hole regardless of what she believes. She was in Opie's home, where she herself does not live, and disrespected her. If she is so adamant that her mother is telling the truth, then she should see her father outside of Opie's home, or alternatively at least be civil whilst in Opie's home and in Opie's company. No guest should ever disrespect the host in their own home. If they hate the host so much, then they should leave. Yep. At some point, you have to acknowledge that she's an adult and is not even attempting to hear the other side. Her mom may have lit the fire, but daughter is keeping it fueled. Not a-hole. She was incredibly rude to you in your own home, and she's an adult, not a hormonal teen anymore. Your husband should be firm with her, but is probably afraid of losing her altogether. Invite her back now that everyone is calm and show a united front. Tell her the facts of your relationship, that you pay her way, and that you love her. Also tell her that her rudeness won't be tolerated in your house. She might be unhappy, but she can't sit on your settee watching your TV and expect to treat you like dirt. I feel like this is really important for Opie to see. Right now, based upon what Opie wrote, it appears that the ex-wife has lied/slandered, the daughter bought it, and now Opie is stuck with living that lie. But that's not how it works. Just because someone else lies about you doesn't obligate you to maintain the lie or fall into line with the accusation. The accusation is a lie. You don't have to accept it. You can sit the daughter down and flatly deny the lie. In fact, you can call the lie a lie, and you can make it clear that when she's with you, you do not tolerate the lie. You are not a homewrecker and will not accept being treated like one. Repeating her mother's lie is not allowed in your home because it's a lie. This young woman is a victim of her mother's lies about you. The bio-mom is the main a-hole here. But those lies do not excuse stepdaughter's behavior towards you in your home. Yes, you could have handled it better, but we are human beings. We're imperfect. Tell her you are sorry for telling her to leave, but that you are upset because you did not have an affair with your husband while he was still with the bio-mom. You are not the a-hole. Forgive yourself too. Now for the next story. Would I be the a-hole if I changed my last name from my stepfather's back to my dad's? When I-18 male was 7, my dad died. My parents weren't together when he died. My mom met my stepfather when I was 9, married him when I was 11. He had a daughter and a nephew he was raising, technically his ex's nephew. Neither of them had his last name, and so after the wedding, they decided he would adopt me and his nephew and all our names would be changed. I didn't want either and said so. They told me it was important for practical reasons, but also it would be nice to have a family name, and that I could see it as having my mom's name if that made it easier. It didn't. When it came time for everything to happen, I spoke out against it in court, and the judge decided to reject the adoption appeal for me, but allowed the name changed. So I ended up with a family name. I always knew I wanted to change it back, and a couple of months ago I moved out and started the process. I had the forms on my kitchen table when my grandparents stopped by. They saw them, told me I needed to tell my mom and stepfather what I'd planned, and that if I didn't, they would. They also told my stepfather's parents, and then I had 6 people tell me, after I told my mom and stepfather, it would be cruel to change my last name back after everything my stepfather had done for me. That considering my stepfather wanted to adopt me still and had asked again and still wanted to when I said no, showed he loved me and was a true dad. They said I could always add my dad's name back to it, but stepfathers should stay. I said no. My grandpa suggested moving my stepfather's name to the middle, but my middle name is my dad's first name, and I want it to stay, and I don't want a second double name. So that is all out. I told them there are no compromises I would consider. They told me it would be rude to go ahead with it knowing how they feel. Would I be the a-hole if I changed my last name? They're a-holes. Change it back and don't budge on anything. That's your dad, and they had no right taking his name from you. You're not the a-hole. 100% agree. Opie lost his dad, which is incredibly traumatic. Removing dad's last name is like removing him from Opie's life for good. That last name is his only tie to his dad, and it was cruel AF for them to force change his last name. So go ahead, Opie, and change it back to your dad's name if that's what you want. You're old enough to make your own choices. Not the a-hole. You're 18. You've known since you were 11 you wanted your birth dad's name. This should come as no shock to anyone who knows you. Change your name to make you happy. If others don't like it, they can lump it. Not the a-hole. It's insane that they would force you to change your name when your father passed away. It's not like he was a deadbeat or some awful person. I honestly can't believe they forced you to do it when you've been adamantly against it since childhood. Being a step-parent isn't about getting kudos or being called a certain name or anything. I've been raising my stepson without his bio mom in the picture since he was a baby, and he still calls me by my first name and would never pressure him not to. Parenting is a selfless task, and kids shouldn't have to meet some requirements for it. If you want to change your name, then absolutely do it. If your stepdad has an issue with it, then he's a step-parent for the wrong reasons. I'm sorry your family put you through this. They're a-holes, not you. Not the a-hole. I second everything this very okay individual has said. As a stepfather, I can hardly imagine doing what your stepfather did to you 7 years ago. The extreme deficit of empathy it would require to force his name in place of your recently deceased father is mind-blowing. In my opinion, this is obvious emotional mistreatment. I am even further angered to read that a court allowed him to force his change on you. Opie, I can tell you from experience that there is no practical reason why this name change was important or necessary. My 2 stepsons have their father's last name, and over the years we've been a family. It has made zero practical difference at all. Not once ever. Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying my stepdad isn't a father figure? My stepdad's 45 male and my 17 male relationship was strained since my mom found him. He is more of a real man do this kind of guy. He was in the army, mandatory service, and now acts like a drill sergeant at times, when he was discharged 3 weeks into a service because he illegally got away. Some loophole in the law. And my bio-dad, 50 male, and my mom, 47 female, divorced 15 years ago for my dad's problems. After spending 20 plus years working 8 to 12 hours a day on his computer, he got back pain and had a lot of surgeries. He started working from home and became an alcoholic and had depression for almost a year. And my mom divorced him. Now my dad has been sober for 10 plus years and now works from home since he still has back problems. We are very close. It ingrained to my head the dangers about alcohol and take care of your back before it gets very bad. My mom found my stepdad around 5 to 6 years ago, and in that time frame, I learned about his double standards and horrible views. My brother, 19 male, lives with us. My stepdad always treated us very differently. My brother got always listened to and respected, even when he stole and lied, while I get labeled a disrespectful brat when I try to correct my mom or my stepdad. My stepdad views men getting abused as being weak and says they deserve it. He also views having a health issue as being lazy. Not going to the army no matter what the reason was is because he is not a man. A day doesn't pass without him giving me crap for my dad's decisions and him not paying for his child support. Long story short, my mom wanted my dad to pay 1,000 euro each for my brother and me each month when he was making 300 euros a month. But outside this, he is a likable-ish guy. To a new person, he gives this chill and likable vibe. He laughs a lot and jokes a lot. When a convo is turning into an argument, he makes jokes to distract everyone from the argument. Yesterday, I went out for a job interview and came back with news that I got a job. By my math, I can move out in 6 months. When I told my mom and stepdad this, they were surprised. My mom was happy, but my stepdad waited 30 minutes and told me that I was a disrespectful brat for not staying longer. 6 months away I will hit 18 and he wants to charge me rent then. He said, "I have been your father for 6 years and you're just gonna leave me?" I responded with, "My dad lives behind the corner, not here." Then he went on for 5 minutes about disrespect and the entire mile. So I just went to my room and called a couple of my friends and ranted about the situation. Some said it was unreasonable and some said I wasn't wrong. So am I the a-hole? Note, I can go on about my stepdad's character for hours on end. He is a pissed off neighbor half of the time and he is a likable guy other times. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your dad is present in your life and treats you with common courtesy and respect. Stepdad doesn't. Why would you look up to someone who treats you badly? Stepdad wants OP to stay home so he can charge him rent. What? Keep that goal of moving out in 6 months. Don't let this a-hole man stop you. Not the a-hole at all. Not the a-hole. Your stepdad went completely out of line. He went on a rant about disrespect even though he was disrespecting you since you met him. Congrats on your job and good luck. Thanks. Not the a-hole. He's only looking at you as a source of money. Why does your mom put up with how he treats you? Or is she happy that you are escaping his BS? My mom has the same views as my dad. She doesn't really like his tantrums, but she usually goes the mile to justify his behavior. Last story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for making a derogative comment regarding my cousin's finances in response to her criticizing my moral character?" Context. I'm 28 male, a commercial solicitor, and one of the clients my firm represents is a bank. Said bank is embroiled in a scandal involving the financing of a Southeast Asian operation accused of child slavery. The bank's alleged fault lies in their failure to properly vet the operation before financing it. Neither I nor my firm are representing the bank on that matter. Not that that distinction mattered to my cousin Camilla, 29 female. Camilla is a staunch human rights activist, and she has been vehemently critical of the bank. For the record, I'm unequivocally opposed to child slavery. Obviously. But this situation isn't that simple. Firstly, the accusations of child slavery is just that. Accusations. Secondly, should the accusations proved true, the bank is only culpable if their vetting process is proven to be substandard. This is because it's not reasonable, or even possible, to expect an institution's vetting process to be flawless. The conflict. And that's what I told Camilla when she asked for my opinion on the scandal at the dinner last night. She wasn't pleased with my response, and the discussion quickly devolved into her insulting me with labels such as child slaver by association. But after being accused of selling my soul for blood money for the 18th time, I snapped and retorted, "It's just a job, Camilla. Maybe if you had one, your parents wouldn't have to resort to asking for charity from family. Why I might be the a-hole. The pandemic cost both of Camilla's parents their jobs. The extended family pooled together a donation to help Camilla's family get back on their feet. I myself contributed $1,000 to this fund. But what was Camilla doing while her family struggled? She chose to study full-time while living at home at the ripe old age of 29. Admittedly, she does bartend part-time. Regardless, the topic is a sensitive one, and my bringing it up might have been overly harsh. Why I think my actions are justified. Firstly, Camilla's argument has no ground to stand on. Like I've stated before, neither my firm nor I are representing the bank on this matter. But even if I was, I have exactly zero influence over which clients and cases my firm takes on. And even if I did, everyone is entitled to a legal defense regardless of how egregious the accusations levied against them are. Secondly, how does Camilla have the gall to accuse me of trading my soul for blood money, while simultaneously being more than happy to accept that same blood money when it is convenient for her? Am I the a-hole? Everyone sucks here. To a degree, I think you both are. I don't think you are an a-hole for doing your job. Financial institutions have a tough role in terms of vetting customers, and as an independent party, it's certainly nothing to do with you. I think it wasn't fair of you to make a jab about her family, even though it sounds like there was truth in it. But she also needs to get off her high horse and live in the real world. I don't know if the jab was really an a-hole behavior. I mean, he contributed $1,000 to the fund for Cousin's family, which is no small sum, only to have to listen to Cousin's diatribe and name-slinging about how he earned said money. Not the a-hole. She chose to pick an argument at the family dinner. You gave her a chance to stop. When she didn't, you shut her down. Everyone sucks here. You both suck and said nasty things to each other. The blood money thing sounds like total BS. And anyway, that kind of dinner party activism is just nonsense. You want to be a staunch human rights activist? Then go do something constructive or disruptive or even arguably destructive. Not yell at your at most tangentially 6 degrees of separation removed from the problem cousin over dinner. But you suck too, OP. Because you attacked her employment status and threw her family's poverty in her face. I would say she sucks more if it matters to you, because she did start it. I don't know. If you're begging for money and someone donates $1,000 to you, I should think there is an obligation to remain civil at least with that person. Especially since the person has no interest in you and wants to be left in peace.